Hello and welcome to another episode of the D1 Daily Podcast. Burkie and Roons here. Burkie, we need to address the low oxygen zone every week. We gotta breathe. If we don't breathe, what do we have? So last week we mentioned these teams. We mentioned Louisville, we mentioned Coastal, we mentioned Arizona, we mentioned TCU. We had Oregon State and Tennessee kind of like shopping, like looking around at some oxygen options, but not quite ready to go buy all the toilet paper out of the stores, but they were there. I'll just comment on Arizona right away. Arizona was awesome in their weekend in Vegas that we had. They could have easily gone 0-3, and then in the middle of their game against Vandy, Smith Bailey basically said, no, we're done here. We're not. I've had enough. And so good on you, Arizona, who went.
Always nice to have a real dude to stop the bleeding.
Yeah. So TCU was fine. They were. I think they were playing like Sacred Heart or something. Like weekend that should go well.
Hold on, Bruce, let me hop in there. Louisville came in on the low oxygen meter.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And then Central Michigan did something that I feel like you and I may need to start a new meter for. Which is the oh my gosh, we're gonna win the game meter.
Oh no! We got ahead of ourselves, meter.
Yeah. So Central Michigan is beating Louisville 8-5, going into the bottom of the ninth.
Oh no!
Right, and you know what happens, Roons? You run out there for the last 3 outs, and you go, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna win." And if we can't breathe in those, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna win" moments. It can get like we're up 3 runs. Why can't we breathe all of a sudden, Roons? Why does that happen? How about this? 4-pitch walk, Roons. How's the oxygen level after that?
It's terrible.
Right, it's not good at all. Then another 4-pitch walk. So we throw 8 in a row to start.
Wow.
Okay. Then 3 straight balls to the next hitter, and we go pitching change. At 3-0.
Tough assignment.
The new reliever comes in, throws a strike, but then walks the bases loaded. Then we get an 0-2 count on Teg Davis. By the way, we've now worked ourselves into the scariest hitters in the lineup, right?
Oh boy, yep.
0-2 count on Teg Davis. Rocket up the middle on the 0-2 pitch.
Oh gosh.
Don't have to throw a strike there, Roons. We're up 3. 0-2 count. Rocket up the middle, okay? Then a strikeout, then single, game over. And all of a sudden, we walk off the field a loser. And now what does Louisville have, Roons? Now Louisville has a lot of oxygen. Yeah. And then they take care of business, end up sweeping that series. And now Louisville, you know how teams are like, yeah, we're back. So it's just I don't know if we want to track the oh my gosh, we're gonna win meter, but like you and I both know in squeeze play, that is a very real thing.
Yeah. There's no better drama in squeeze play. It's really the best drama when you've got competing dugouts, one dugout with no oxygen, one dugout that slips. Nobody on purpose goes into the oh my gosh, we're gonna win zone. It just like you wake up in it actually. And when you have that happening on the field simultaneously, there is no better drama in our sport than that. Is the best.
When does it start, Roons? Does it start like after the second ball to the first hitter, and you're like, oh no, wait a second, don't.
No one can say. It's a disease with no symptoms. It's like you just blink and you're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna win, and then you can't. That thought can't. Now you're
can't
screwed.
Escape you.
Yeah. No.
And then all of a sudden you lose and you walk off and you're like, we lost. So anyway, I just have to bring that up. That is a fascinating piece of the oxygen and how it can change dugouts real quickly.
Yes. Coastal had a weird weekend, Burkie. Like the injuries are just outrageous for them right now. And they did go 1-2. Texas kind of ran them off the field, like 8-1. Ran them off the field is probably the wrong expression, but Texas, doesn't look like a very close game. UTSA who continues to play well, beat them 16-10, and then they did beat Ole Miss 9-2. So,
well, Roons, here's my thing on that, because that leads me to one of my low oxygens, and this is probably not fair, and I'm gonna let you tell me it's not fair, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So, Coastal, we know their whole deal is set up on run prevention. So for them to give up 8 and 16 when they should have Fluky and Hayden Johnson pitching, like that has to sting. Now, credit to a championship program for coming back and just taking care of business immediately the next day and doing it. I had a buddy that was at the game, and he's like, dude, this Coastal team's a machine. Like, they're just a baseball execution machine. You know, he's like, the offense isn't overly talented. It doesn't impress you with physicality, yet they just scored 9 runs on Ole Miss, you know. But my question for you, Roons, is does a 1-2 weekend in Houston make it a little hard to breathe for Ole Miss? Like, not really, because it's a nice start to the season. I know it's a veteran team, so that feels harsh. But you lose to Baylor and a wounded Coastal team. You look up and your arch rival looks like they're like all the way back.
Right. And
you're going, okay, we get, you know, we go home, we play Memphis, North Alabama, Evansville. But then, you know, right around the corner, it's Southern Miss and Texas.
Yikes.
So, you know, I don't know. I don't think Ole Miss is struggling to breathe, but from our perspective, is that a bad sign for their, let's just say what that standard of that program is?
Yeah.
Potential hosting kind of program.
I would say,
or is it something?
I would say like Ole Miss has 2 anecdotes for the low oxygen zone. One is named Hunter Elliott.
Yeah.
And one is the fact that like they have 9 dudes in their starting lineup that could hit. They have 8 dudes in their starting lineup that could hit 20 home runs, and they have Dom Decker who could hit 40 doubles.
And he just hit 3 this weekend, by the way.
Yeah. So like I think but I think Sunday feels very uncomfortably for Ole Miss. But I think this is more, and we're going to come to a team that's in the same boat where this is more like when you play good tournaments like this, the whole purpose is get found out.
Yeah, that's right.
Like get what are the questions on the test that you can't answer, and now we got a couple months to figure out how to answer them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Ole Miss was given that gift. But what you said about their arch rival, that does cause the oxygen to go out of the room.
Yeah, a little bit.
We saw that with Vandy is one of my low oxygen teams. They went 0-3 in Vegas. And I think that's one thing that's hurt Vandy's oxygen levels is the fact that Tennessee has been on this all-time heater. And your fan base just gets real fidgety when they look down the road and, you know, their neighbor's getting a new kitchen and you got the same kitchen you've had for 20 years. They don't like that.
No, I would say that the cause for concern with Vandy, that, you know, we had some pitchers that, you know, Austin and I left the game.
Yeah, pitched 1 inning. I'll give you their injuries. Vandy did not play. Colin Barzy did not. He traveled, which is encouraging, but didn't play. And they have their backup as a true. Mac Whitcomb is a good hitter. He's not an SEC catcher. He's a hitter. He's their DH. He went back there and he went back there and caught like a DH, right? Like he's a hitter. That's the reason why he was the OVC hitter of the year. Their freshman Corbin Reynolds. He gave them a great effort this weekend, but he was asked to catch 197 pitches in the Friday game. So like at that point, he's done, but he did hit a home run that started a rally in their Sunday game. Like he's game, but it's a lot. Like it's a true freshman. They need Colin Barzy bad. Their bullpen, like Miller Green to me is their best bullpen arm, most trusted. He's out right now. And then Austin Nye, your Saturday guy, only pitching 1 inning and then coming out of the game with a bicep issue. Like all that stuff is really scary.
Fennell wasn't dominant.
Yeah, tight zone in like Irvine's ace. But I would say for Vandy, the other thing I would say for them is they faced Irvine's Friday night guy, Trevor Hansen. They faced Smith Bailey, who's a Friday night guy on any other team. And then they faced this kid for Oregon, Cal Scolari, touched 98 in the first, and he was the WCC pitcher of the year last year. He just pitched on Sundays because Oregon's loaded. And so it was like a perfect storm of of no oxygen for Vandy this weekend. I remain very intrigued by their roster. Braden Holcomb hit a home run to center, Burkie. Coach Farron said it was 463 feet. Like it was.
No, I was just about to say that. Like,
yeah,
Braden, and he's playing center field.
Yeah.
And like, I love everything about that. And I love that Holcomb's turned into a real dude. Like that's a really exciting piece. I think Vanderbilt's offense is way more fun and exciting than it's been, especially they get Barzy back. But the pitching stuff, Miller Green and Austin Nye, like those things don't, and then you get swept. It just, that doesn't make things easier to breathe. No. I'm going to this is another thing I want you to tell me if this is fair or unfair. Switching topics. Oregon State was on the watch list and they won their weekend. I still have them on the low oxygen meter.
Me too.
Okay. You win. You lose. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. You win 2-1. You lose 8-7. And you win 4-3. So you play 3 one-run games against 3 solid programs, right? You play 3 one-run games against 3 potential regional teams. But the offense still really scares me. And you've now run through, from a resume standpoint, probably the best part of your schedule. And again, when your standard is the host, I don't think that that bodes well for where that's going to lead them. Now, who knows? They might get hot and they might just be a kind of a Coastal Carolina from last year type of team, and they just win 4-3 games no matter who they play against. And maybe they still go, 40-16, and it's good enough to host because of the way their schedule is designed. But I don't feel a lot better about Oregon State after the weekend.
No, yeah, and especially because the high-scoring game against Alabama, Ethan Kleinschmidt Alabama got to him a little bit. It looked like, and so like they need that. That's not a win. I'm with you. Like they just, like you mentioned Coastal, and it's like, but what if Coastal last year didn't have Caden Bodine? Do we still because they don't have a Caden Bodine, they don't have a pro position player. So I'm with you. I'm, and again, for who Oregon State wants to be, they want to be an Omaha contender, right? Like, and exactly. that offense is just not saying Omaha, that position player group. So I'm with you. Arizona State is my other low oxygen team, Burkie. They played 5 SEC teams this week. So in fairness, that's that's a big assignment. None of them at home. They win the first game in a blowout. They run Oklahoma off their own field, and then they have a lead in the 9th to sweep Oklahoma in 2 midweeks, and then you go home 1-4. And I saw Willie Bloomquist's interview after the game on Sunday. He was angry. I think that's the only word I could use to describe him. They have now walked 60 batters in 12 games. That's not going to play. And I do love, Aaron Fitt, his comments coming out of that was like, hey, I like their position player group very much. I like their arm talent, but you can't give 5 free passes a game. No. Yeah, that's, whatever. That's just not going to play. And I don't know. We're going to find out if it's fixable. Arizona State's fan base, Burkie, would remind you of Mississippi State's, but just way less people, way less humans. It's real important to them and real fidgety, paranoid is the wrong word, but it's kind of not that far away from the right word. I don't know what it is, but I'm referencing your parenthood, but it reminds me of a childhood, if it's starting to not go their way, there's a lot of history that's going to get referenced. Yeah. It's I see it.
Arizona State hasn't been the blue blood that their fan base still believes they are.
Yes.
For a while. It reminds me a little bit about Kentucky basketball. I live right in the heart of the Commonwealth, you know what I mean? And to their fans, it still is 2015, but it's not. It's 2026, but you're not going to change the way they expect their team to perform. And Arizona State, it's still whatever, the mid 80s or the late 90s or the early 2000s, go back to whatever you think their glory days are, but it's not. But I think the frustrating thing, and you're closer to it than me, it feels like it's so close to that.
Yes.
Like, they easily could have swept the midweek series of Oklahoma. They certainly could have beat Tennessee. They were, in that game. And yet you go 1-4. And now it feels like the run roll game against Oklahoma, didn't even happen. And you're looking, now you start to look at these resumes. Like, one thing I love about college baseball, and I feel like college basketball probably overemphasizes it, but it's just true. And the whole season counts the same, right? But you know how college basketball, the have programs in college basketball, they go play these insane early season schedules. Like Auburn right now is 15-14, and they're 6-10 in the SEC, but they're still on the bubble because of this crazy pre-conference schedule that they play. Like, the committee will give them all kinds of grace because of that. And so give Arizona State a bunch of credit. They've scheduled all those games, but you didn't quite win as many of them as you needed to. And so now you're in this deal where it's like, you will get credit for playing those games, but it's not horseshoes. Like, you don't get credit for kind of being competitive. You need to win those games. I will say that I did my deep dive on Landon Hairston, and I'm a big fan. That Joker rakes.
He rakes.
That is a professional hitter for sure.
Yeah. My final thought on Arizona State, Burkie, that's the whole definition of the low oxygen zone. It's all the lens you view the world through. Like, you could, if you're an Arizona State fan, you could say, okay, we made a regional last year. That's good. We had 9 kids drafted in the first 10 rounds last year. That's good. And our team is visibly talented this year. That's good. But you could also view the world through, we haven't been to Omaha in 16 years, and we have only been to 1 regional in 4 years, and it looks like we don't throw strikes again. Like, it looks like we have a Omaha lineup with pitching that can't do it again. Yeah. So it's like, all these
that's
things.
Where it gets hard to breathe, because everybody, like you said, agitated is the right word. It's like, we don't think we stink, but sometimes we're so close to being good, but we're maybe not elite is just as frustrating, especially from a blue blood program. Okay, give me a couple more that are on your.
Yeah, this will be my capper. Troy is 5-6, and they aspire to be an at-large team, and we love that program. Like, there's so much energy, and they're good. I'm just here to tell Troy fans, this is fine. Like, it always happens the year that it starts. Like, remember last year, Troy was ranked for 13 weeks, and then had their hearts ripped out of their stomach and stomped on. Or ripped out of their chest at the end. So Troy being 5-6, I'm taking that as a positive. They've played a ferocious schedule. I just want to say this, Burkie. If LSU fans, they're immune to the low oxygen zone. Like, LSU's got a special potion that Skip Burtman left in Jay Johnson's office.
Yes.
So they never run out of oxygen. They made some type of deal. But LSU fans, I want you to hear me say this and be encouraged by it. I'm just so bored with how good you guys are. Like, they didn't pitch that well a few weeks ago. Now it's fixed. They, Gavin Guidry's back, striking out every hitter he eyeballs.
William Schmidt was fantastic this week.
Yeah, they didn't score very many runs against North. Yeah. I'm just like, if any LSU fan wants to panic, and I know that's not your guys' thing. Like, you guys don't panic. You just yell louder. It's amazing. But I'm just not here for it. I'm bored with LSU. Like, my where I'm at with LSU, Burkie, is I'll check in June. I'll whatever.
When they're 45-12.
Yeah, I'll see you in 4 months.
Yeah, I think it is interesting though that an offense that looked like, oh my gosh, this is like a 2023 LSU offense, all of a sudden scores low single digits all weekend against Dartmouth. I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years. So maybe a little hard to breathe in the cage this weekend in Baton Rouge. Maybe there's some draftitis going on there with a few of those guys. You never know.
Never know.
Can I just say the opposite of hard to breathe is we don't care about oxygen because we run into the chimney and we just are here for all the smoke. Xavier is 4-7. Okay.
They run into the chimney. They live in the chimney.
Xavier needs a chimney uniform. My niece, the lovely Audrey Audrey Burke, goes to Xavier. And I was talking to my brother and my dad about their baseball program last night. And I said, can I read to you guys their schedule?
Oof.
And they were like, yeah. I go, they started at East Carolina, then they played Louisville, then they went to Arkansas, then they played Indiana. Now they're going on the road for Fullerton, Ohio State, and Oregon State. 4 at Oregon State, by the way. Then they're just hanging around to play 2 in Eugene against Oregon. Okay. Then they come home and start playing their conference games. And then just like for giggles, they play Vandy and Cincinnati and some people in the non-conference. Then they just decided to go to Georgia Tech towards the end of the year. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Who Xavier plays. So I don't even know. Like, I just have to get, I don't think they operate on oxygen. Don't need it. No.
You know what Xavier baseball is? And Billy O'Connor, their coach, is so glorious. Burkie, his thing is like, we decide if we make the NCAA tournament. No one else. We do. We do this schedule, and if we win, we go. But no one else, no committee decides. We do. Yeah. Right. And now it hasn't worked, in fairness. Like, they haven't, but Xavier baseball is the movie The Last Samurai. They just, like, the other team has tanks and guns and bullets. Mm-hmm. They just take their sword out of their pocket and run at you.
They go right into the chimney.
Yeah.
Right into it. I am fascinated with Xavier baseball. And I just think, like, first of all, like, you need some T-shirts. You need some, like, we run into the Chimney T-shirts. And, like, I think if any coaching staff is having a hard time breathing because of their, like, upcoming schedule and the way their team's currently playing, just go to d1baseball.com, click on Xavier's schedule, and you'll feel better about, like, your heart palpitations currently.
Yeah. Either visualize Xavier or visualize Florida going to Miami, because apparently they just are
invincible.
They just don't. It doesn't affect them. Love the low oxygen meter and love the Xavier reference. Well done, Burkie. That's it. We're going daily this week, people.
Here we are.
Yeah, this is it. D1
Come
Daily.
See us. We wanted the smoke too. We're like Billy O'Connor and Xavier baseball. We are here for it. We're here for you every day this week. And Roons,
Coach Early, by the way. Coach Early, did we say this? Coach Early talking about the low oxygen.
Oh, yeah. Coach Early, thank you for the love. Appreciate it. You could have thrown my name in there, but look, I don't get easily offended. No worries. We are going to be here for you 5 days a week, and in the biz, we call this a tease. Friday is going to be unique. Yes. So be ready for Friday. Hopefully you stay till the end of this pod, because we're coming for you on Friday. That's all I got, Roons.
Very good. All right, people. Have a good one. We'll catch you next time on the D1 Daily Podcast.